All right, good evening and welcome to another Wednesday night Bible study. I'm Rob Wood, the pastor at Wanda United Methodist Church, and we have been going through the love verse, 1 Corinthians chapter 13. Most of us know this, but I want to recap a little bit. Paul starts off this part of the verse with what love is. Love is patient. Love is kind. And we talked a lot about, when we started this Bible study, about how love can be patient, how it can be kind, and how that affects how we love ourselves, how we love our partners, families, church, friends, all those things. And then we spent several weeks going through what Paul talks about, the things that love is not. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It is not rude. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. Keeps no record of wrongs. Does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. And now we're going to talk about what love does. As we started this process, I was having fun with it. I was just really enjoying what Paul was writing about and seeing how he was really talking about. A lot of this was love amongst people of a congregation. Quite honestly, he was originally talking a lot about how this congregation in Corinth, how there was jealousy amongst the parishioners, how there was, some people were looking at the spiritual gifts of others and saying, "Oh, well, my spiritual gift is better than your spiritual gift," and they were not practicing love, especially not that sacrificial love that Christ teaches us. And now we get into something that I really like. This is where we start talking about what love does. And when I say I really like it, I like it because it's fascinating to me. I don't like it because there's been a lot of places throughout this entire study that have really been kind of kicks in the teeth for me, to make me step back and realize that I have not been doing nearly as good a job at being someone who exemplifies love. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that I thought I was doing okay on, and I had to reflect back and realize I wasn't doing nearly as good as I thought I should be doing. And now we get to what love does. It protects, always trusts, always hopes, and always perseveres. Originally, as I was thinking about these, I was going to break each one down into a week long. But with all the things we're going through, with all the things that we are dealing with in the world today, with the COVID-19 coronavirus, with all the anger over politics and all the things that we're just dealing with, and quite honestly, things we're going to continue to deal with. Things that are going to be tough, because let's face it, we're not out of the woods yet. I know in a lot of ways things are looking a little better, but we're not through this. We've still got a long way to go. So let's think about what love does. First, it protects. It's love is a way that we can protect ourselves. I know that's not something we often talk about. It's not something we often think about. But, when we look at this concept, this idea of how love impacts, how my love for myself impacts me, how that has to be honest. And again, as I've talked about a lot, this is not about being a narcissistic, "Oh, I am a wonderful, awesome person." No, it's just about loving who you are in the skin you're in. Accepting that if Christ can love us warts and all, because he sees us even better than we see ourselves. Why should we not be able to love ourselves and accept ourselves, warts and all, as well? And that's not an easy thing to do, because I know for myself, when it comes to criticism, I am my greatest critic. And it's not a good thing. I deal with depression, I deal with anxiety, I deal with a lot of these problems that if I was better at accepting me, I'd be a lot better at being able to accept others. So being able to know and look at myself now through this lens of love that says, if I am building this new love for myself, I have to learn how to protect myself with that love. That's a tough one. It's easy to kind of look at and think about, with my wife. I should look at it and be able to say, because I love her, I should be trying to protect her. And now protecting, a lot of times if we have kids, we have pets, we have, things that we love in our lives, we often think about, I want to protect them. But we also have to understand that sometimes that love and the protection that we give someone is not necessarily shielding, not necessarily coddling. There is such a thing as tough love. And sometimes it is the hardest love to give. Sometimes that you've got to give a little kick in the seat of the pants sometimes to be able to say, you've got to strive a little harder. You've got to, just because you're doing something, that does not mean it's okay. And that goes for ourselves. Sometimes we have to jumpstart our own spiritual development, our own development of self, our own things to sit back and look at and go, I could do a whole lot better. And a lot of times the only thing that keeps me from doing better is me. And sometimes the things that I'm doing, I'll give you a great example. As we've been dealing with this whole COVID-19 shelter in place and don't have church services and all these different things, my diet has completely gone off the rails. I mean, I'm not going to lie, I have eaten way more things that are not good for me in the past several weeks than I probably did in the last year. And, every once in a while, I'll sit there and I'll take a bite of something and go, I'm not hungry. I know this is not something that I need to be doing, but, gosh, it feels good. Sometimes there's a reason they call it comfort food. And I don't care what anybody says, it's awful hard to get more comfort out of a stick of celery than a bag of potato chips. But if I really build up and love myself, I will start learning how to protect myself and do things that are healthier and better for me. That's kind of a hard one to think about when we talk about how love protects. But it's what we're called to do. We have to protect ourselves. Because we can't do good things. We can't go out and do good works if we can't do anything. So, that's one thing to look at. So we talk about love protects. And then always trusts. Boy, that's a hard one. Trust. Trust can be a bear. I've seen lack of trust destroy a lot of relationships. And the sad part is, a lot of times it isn't that a trust was betrayed. It isn't that a person earned not being trusted. It was just that somebody wasn't able to trust. And unfortunately, if you're not able to trust, it doesn't matter if anybody around you does anything to earn your lack of trust. You're not going to trust them. And it's a hard thing. It can eat people up. I mean, just eat you alive. So when you think about how how your love that you express for yourself, for your spouse, your partner, for your kids, for your friends, family, coworkers. You know, trust is a hard thing, but love trusts. Love always trusts. That makes it even harder. You know, because we've always got a little bit of distrust in us. But to try and step back and think about, you know, with this love, as I build this love, as I become deeper in my spiritual life, as I try to exercise this emotion, this feeling, and it is something we have to exercise. This is not something. I think there are some people who are more loving, more trusting, and that's great. You know, for them, I got nothing but admiration for them. I know I'm not. You know, so for me, loving, trusting, all these things are work, and it takes effort, and I fall short daily. But love always protects, always trusts, and always hopes. Man, that hope thing is a big deal. Finding our hope and our love in Christ is so important. The eternal life that I don't want to say we hope for. This is, you know, the point of faith is that it's what we believe in. But in love, there is always hope. And as long as we're striving to love each other, our enemies, to love others as ourselves, which also means we have to love ourselves, then we have to hold on to hope. You know, we have to look at all these things that are going on right now. And we have to know that throughout everything, throughout all of it, we still have hope. And then the last part of this, always perseveres. You know, there have been many people in my life that have referred to me as being a fairly stubborn individual. And oftentimes that stubbornness is looked at as a negative thing. I prefer to look at it as perseverance. And I'll be honest, a lot of times it just is pure stubbornness. But to persevere. Love doesn't quit. Love doesn't give up. Love perseveres. So as we look at this and we think about this and we really explore this idea of love and what we have to be for each other and what we have to do for everybody out there in this world, is we have to protect. We have to trust. We have to hope. And we have to persevere. Folks, I cannot think of more appropriate things, especially this week as we're going through Holy Week and coming up on Easter, and as we're, you know, kind of deep in the depths of this shelter in place and stay at home and social distancing. It's tough, and you know, we are at Wanda United Methodist Church this Easter Sunday. We're going to do our best to come up with drive-in church. We have an FM transmitter on the way. Should be here Friday. Hopefully we'll be able to cobble it all together and get it all set up so we can Easter morning set up out in front of the fellowship hall and have everybody just pull in and be able to listen to some music and sing along in your cars. You know, I know a lot of you are going to sing a lot louder in the car than normally in the pews, because we all sing louder in the car. And we're going to have a fun time. And you know what? If worst comes to worst and the transmitter doesn't show up on time, or it doesn't work, or things don't go the way I wanted them to, I can be fairly loud. And if I just have to stand out in the middle of the parking lot and just be really, really loud, that's what I'll do. But we'll all be out there on Easter Sunday. We'll be sharing and protecting each other, because we'll be in our cars and be practicing social distancing. We'll be trusting in each other that this is going to work. And we'll have hope and perseverance. Now, next week, we're going to go ahead and expand this into verse 8 and talk about some other aspects of love and some things that go along with what Paul said, because I think they're important, and I can't think of a better time to do them. So I look forward to seeing you next week. I look forward to seeing all my folks from Wanda, at least through your windshields, on Sunday morning. And I thank you for watching and coming out and doing this with me. Love y'all. Be blessed.